Hey there guys, so the last time in the anime, we saw that our protagonist Takumi was accidentally picked in the hero summoning ritual, meaning that Takumi was not on the list of potential people to be summoned, so Goddess Nalan called him to herself because Takumi had lost his physical body. So she gave him the second chance at life with new body of a 17-year-old and freedom to choose his path in another world, and she added her blessings as well. Takumi didn't want his life to be hectic, so he chose a production class job to live peacefully and start living in the first village he came across. Takumi spends his time learning alchemy and chose it as his main job, but he still had good abilities to fight off the monsters as well. Plus, he even tamed an insect-type monster, a killer spider that no one had ever tamed. So Babin and Bunga knew the kid is sure to become big shot one day. Then afterwards, Takumi's pet spider did a number on him while he was asleep. She was sorry, but she was also sad that Takumi wasn't giving her any attention. Takumi was always caught up in his work, so he decided to take a day off. And just then Martha came in and took things wrong. But what really caught her attention was spider silk, so she and another lady started to make clothes out of it. Spider silk is a luxury that only nobles could afford, so Martha wanted some more silk with elasticity. But Maple could only talk with Takumi, yet Maple understood, don't know how. So Takumi took off to do his own thing, and first he went to Babin to see how his armor was coming along. It was a good fit, but Babin still had some adjustments to do. Babin and Bunga knew the kid had to move out to the big city for his production skill to improve, so they prepared a ride for Takumi that will take him to Bolton City. Takumi was grateful to all of their help, and when he went out, he saw Martha in the way. She had innards of horned rabbits, but it needs to be processed to make it edible. So she was about to throw it away, but Takumi used his purification skill on it. It was a light-based skill, so Martha thanked Takumi for the help. But she also warned him not to show his light skill to just anyone because it's way too rare. Listening to her advice, Takumi then used his skill to make the village defense more solid in the time he had left before he leaves for Bolton. And soon, the trader who would take him arrived in the village. The fatty was named Papek, who runs a trading company in Bolton. But before leaving, Takumi gave out all of the potion to Bunga, about 100 he left in his house. Papek took an interest in that potion and took a quick look at it. And in the meantime, villagers came to say goodbye to Takumi, and as a parting gift Martha and ladies had made a new coat for him, using Maple's spider silk to show their gratitude for all the help Takumi gave them. It touched his heart, so Takumi left the village with a bittersweet feeling. It made him tear up because it was the first village he lived in. In that carriage, Takumi meets Heath, Rail, and Boger, who are the C-rank adventurer party known as Lion Fong. Escort is a must for a trader after all, but they noticed the bag in Takumi's hand, and he told them it's his pet killer spider. So Rail was excited to meet Maple, but Maple hit Rail for being a creep, but she took a liking to Boger for his fatherly aura. Then Papek called Takumi to talk about his potion, but he had stopped the carriage suddenly, and the Lion Fong got ready to drop down, because a hitch on the ride is to be always expected in a woods filled with monsters. So Lion Fong did their job perfectly of protecting their patron. And after that, their journey went on, and in 3 days they arrived in Bolton City, and Takumi went to guild to register. He wanted to register in Alchemy Guild, but there wasn't any in the city, so the receptionist told him to just sign up as an adventurer because the guild card could be used for identification. And all Takumi has to do is do one quest a month to keep his guild card valid. So Takumi gave in, and then he showed all the potion he has to Papek. And he gave a good price to different types of his potion, which could be valued at 7 million yen in Japanese currency. But that seemed odd because Papek was being too good to Takumi, who he just met. Then Papek even asks Takumi about his place to stay, because he'll need a workshop for production. That's why Papek had perfect place for him. It was a good mansion, and more so at a very lower price. So Takumi was concerned if it's haunted that he got it for cheap. But Thomas assured nothing had happened here. Afterwards he goes to the city for a tour, but the foul smell kept bothering him. So Thomas tells him that it's coming from below the street. Nobles uses purification at their mansion to purify the wastewater. But the city residents aren't rich, so the wastewater can't be purified, and as a result the smell comes up. The city does hire priests periodically for that though. So just as Takumi moved into his new house, he repaired everything and started to create a toilet for his use. Coming from a modern civilization back to the ancient times, the first problem comes as toilet. So Takumi used his skills to make the toilet, which drained all of his mana. But at least he succeeded in making it. But Papek came to check on him, and Maple wrapped him up to entertain him, and it appears that Papek also enjoyed the comfort. So after that, Papek went to use the restroom and was too shocked seeing the modern toilet. Takumi told him he used purification to clean out waste before it goes down the drainage. But that reminds him Martha's warning, so he asked Papek to keep it secret, and Papek agreed, but he wants hundreds of this toilet in return. Papek thought of hiring slaves to help Takumi out, but using slave was against Takumi's norms, so he rejected the idea. But having an aptitude for light magic shows Takumi is a chosen by God, and church always keeps light users under them to make profit. So it would become a problem if Takumi shows this skills to common workers. That's why slaves were needed. Plus, Papek had planned to sell this in the market with a backing, but Takumi had to remain behind the curtain at all times, and Takumi was still opposed to using slaves. But his guild card received the message that he has to complete one quest of this month before the deadline. So Takumi gave in, and Papek took Takumi to Mulan Company for slaves. But Papek goes first for something, and Takumi tried to take a look around the settlement. But his tour became a faithful encounter under the cherry blossom with a gorgeous elf who asked Takumi to go home. But our episode 2 ends right there, so stay tuned to watch another episode of this anime. For that, subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to receive the latest updates. Till then, take care.